Okay, you guys, welcome to our week one of ISF Fuel 42. We're super excited to do another round of this. And those who did sign up with me for the first round, they're welcome to hop in as well and join in for we'll check in each week. So that's something you guys can look forward to. And let's see. Am I big on your guys' screen right now? Or is Alice?
Yeah, it's
Bit weird.
okay.
Alice, will you mute yours real quick?
Okay, you bet. Oh, okay.
I'm thinking because of the clicks. Sometimes when we record it and it's kind of bouncing back and forth, it's hard to hear. So we'll see if that kind of helps it. But I might be able to help too. Okay, there we go. We're muted. Okay, so anyway, we're going to hop right in. And I get to share this awesome system that I've put together with you guys to help you towards your weight loss goals. So, I accidentally closed my folder. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so for week one, I have little handouts for you guys that I will email tomorrow along with the recording. And then that'll help to just keep you on your weight loss journey, okay? So before we jump, oh my gosh. My touch screen isn't moving. What the heck? All right. Okay, there we go. I just wanted to touch a little bit. You guys know me. This was an open call to many others who don't know me quite so well, but I am a certified personal trainer and a certified health coach. And I've been running boot camp for about a year now, just past the year mark, right, Alice? Woo woo. And I've been a digital health coach for over 4 years and a personal trainer for about a decade, which is so weird to say. And then I have just high performance athletics with soccer through college and semi-pro. And then, of course, my 3 little ones have kept me busy for the past almost 8 years, as Briggs is about to turn 8. That's really weird. So I think in all of that, and knowing all of that, just know that I have worked with very fit individuals and people who have never done fitness before in their life and they're just starting out. And what I saw in all of these individuals was always a relationship with food. And so we're going to touch on your relationship with food. I'm going to mute my phone so that doesn't ring again. And I think that that's really an empowering journey to go on, is understanding your relationship with food. And then aside from that, we're going to touch in and help you shift your mindset. And so you're going to hear different examples that I have from working with different clients and things that I picked up from them. And honestly, I think the real big push for me to put together my own program was the fact that there's so many bad diets out there. And there's just, I'm laughing because already this year I've had quite a few people come to me and they're like, oh yeah, I lost like 40 pounds in 2 months. And then it's kind of come back on. I'm like, holy cow, that seriously, people lost 20, 30, 40 pounds in a short amount of time. And that's really hard on your body, and that's really scary. And I know that it feels so good when people get those quick fixes, but it's never long lasting when it is a quick fix. So the quote that I actually included in that email was, these small incremental changes, they're the ones that make the big difference in the long run. And they're the ones that are going to be long lasting, way more than any quick fix out there. So, the way that I've designed my program is through, some of the USDA stuff, some of my personal training stuff, some stuff from my health coaching cert as well, some stuff from Beachbody that I really liked. And it's just kind of this eclectic program that I think can really help change the trajectory of your life with food, because we have to eat every day, right? And so by going in with a game plan per se. And I'm going to start to have you think of yourself as an athlete and kind of having this game plan for yourself. And it should be pretty fun and it should be positive. And especially right now with New Year's resolutions going down, we always think like, oh, I need to cut back on that. I need to cut back. I need to stop that. I need to, and it's all these negatives, and our brain does not deal very well with negatives, as I'm sure that you guys have seen in your life. And so furthermore, we're going to be focusing on what you can have and keeping it positive and not feeling that restriction. So there's not going to be a binge. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to just start us off with the bare basics. So you guys can stand here and say, okay, this is how I lose weight. And it's just the fundamentals. So losing weight is a combination of calorie input versus calorie output. So in layman terms, what you're eating versus what you're expending is going to make your weight fluctuate up or down. And you guys see that daily, right? Your body typically will find a happy place somewhere within 5 to 10 pounds, and you can kind of bounce there. And sometimes it's 1 or 2 pounds and you kind of bounce around there. But our bodies are pretty incredible that way. And so knowing that, now we're going to take it a step further. In a deficit of 3,500 calories, you're going to lose 1 pound. So through everything that we do, I'm not going to have you do calorie counting. I am going to have you just start to track what you're eating. And what you're going to find is some stuff works for your body and some stuff doesn't. And you're going to start to get really in tune with your body. And it's actually very empowering to start to understand your body more. And I'm sure that there's some meals that you kind of already know that like you feel like crap after, or when you eat this, you feel really good and you're like, oh, this is great. So it kind of goes both ways, right? But the way that we can keep control over our calories, because you have, if you were to just sit on the couch all day, that's called your basal metabolic rate. And so that's how many calories you burn just to survive, just to live, because your heart's using them, your muscles when you're moving. If you're sitting on the couch, you're not really moving, but you're breathing, and that expends energy as well. So, and digesting expends energy. So you kind of have, and that's like a genetic code inside your body. So maybe for some people, they'll sit there and burn 1,000 calories while someone else sits there and only burns 800. And it's just the way that we're made. But hey, Kara, welcome. But on top of that, the more lean muscle mass you create for your body, the more calories you will expend even as you're sitting there. So that's a cool thing. And so that fluctuates a little bit as well. But overall, the big key factors here are what you're putting into your mouth and then how much you're moving every day. And that's what we see marketed like crazy for this or that, and how to eat better, how to not eat, how to starve yourself, all these different things to kind of catch our attention and help us kind of maintain these calories where we want. Control over minimal changes, and that's kind of what I was talking about. Like the more muscle mass is going to increase your resting metabolism, stuff like that. How people like do the hot yoga because you're sweating out a lot and then you lose a lot of water mass and stuff like that. But anyway, all right, moving forward. So your first mental shift that I would like you to make and start saying is that I am an athlete and my food is my fuel. And this is going to start to put a really healthy twist onto what you're eating. And we, in later weeks, I think we touch on this again, but I just want to lay this foundation of that you're an athlete. When you wake up in the morning, do you think, like, I don't want to make it too negative, but I'll just put it as a personal reflection. So I've dealt with depression in my life, and there's been some days, and especially after having a baby, that I'd wake up and I would just feel icky and I'd feel fat and I just have so many negative thoughts coming down on myself. It's going to make me get choked up because that's a hard spot to be. But when you can wake up and instead of going to that negative place, start to rewire it and start to think, you know what? I'm an athlete. I'm going to get up and I'm going to eat a breakfast like an athlete. Like, how different is your breakfast going to look if you wake up feeling icky and feeling fat and you go to the kitchen and then you start to eat like that type of person versus waking up and saying, I'm an athlete, my food is my fuel, and you go to the kitchen, probably more inclined to grab something healthy, right? So that's where I'm coming from on that. Okay, so everyone's muted. I've said a lot. Does anyone want to chime in anything? Because I like conversation versus me talking the whole time. Any thoughts? And you just tap the microphone. There's somewhere like a little microphone if you do want to chime in. Okay, I'll move forward. You guys are all shy tonight. Okay, so here's our system, you guys. Here is how you're going to carry forward from now until forever, basically. So first off, water for the win. And this is our foundation for weight loss. And there's been so many studies that back this up, that the more water intake, the more weight loss. So water makes up 60 to 75% of our body mass. You need water to function well. Your cells need water to function well. And just talking about this, I need a drink. And that was cheesy, but it was true. So you can kind of glance through these, that even like mental clarity, your kidneys are obviously going to get cleansed and function a lot better. There's great benefits to your skin and again, the weight loss. So your task number 1 is to drink at least half of your body weight in ounces daily. And this, as I've worked with so many clients, is typically the downfall. Or they're drinking really great water and then like 3 or 4 cans of Coke Zero a day. That's been like the latest, the most popular thing. And I've actually been reading studies, little tangent, but they've linked the aspartame or aspartame, however you want to say it, to an increase in weight gain, not because it is 0 calories, but because it's such a sweet sweetener. It's like 1,000 times the sweetness of sugar or something like that. So it's so sweet that it's actually numbing our taste buds. And so it makes cravings like kick up more, is what they're linking it with. And so it's kind of an indirect weight gainer. Weird, huh? So anyway, what I want you to do is water for the win. So when you wake up in the morning, I want you to keep a water by your bed at night. Maybe you already do. I usually do. And I sit up in the morning and then I just guzzle down like 8 to 16 ounces of water, whatever I can stomach at the time. And it usually just revitalizes my system. It helps me wake up. It gets my gastric juices pumping. And then I'm kind of up for the day. So I want you to immediately implement that. So this week, you're going to start with water for the win. You're going to wake up and drink it. And then before your meals, you're going to drink 8 to 12 or 16 ounces. I think I average around 12 ounces, I'd say. 16 is a little much for my body. So just listen to your body, what feels good. But there are a lot of meals that I'm super hungry and I'll sit down and I just start eating. And then about 2 or 3 minutes in, I'm like, oh, water for the win. So even if you don't nail it perfectly, whenever you're starting to fill up your system with water, go for it, okay? You can't really fail at this. So fill up on the water and it's going to feel good. I sound so Utah right now. Phil. Hi, Briggs. I have a spy in the room. Anyway, you get the point. So that's our system. Implementation number 1 is water for the win. So let's dig in a little bit more with understanding fuel. So I'm going to breeze over this, but have you guys heard of macro counting? I have no faces, so maybe, yeah. You guys have to say something at some point, okay? So macro counting is basically talking about our macronutrients for the body. So you have carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. These are the 3. Everything we eat falls into those 3 categories. So you've got carbs, and that's the main thing that our body is running off of. 50 to 60% of what we typically are eating is carbs. Fats 25 to 30%, and proteins 15 to 25%. And that's really talking about the calories of it. So if you're like, there's no way I'm eating that many fats, not to get too technical, but for carbohydrates, for every gram, it's 4 calories. Protein, for every gram, 1 gram, it's 4 calories. For fats, for every 1 gram, it's 9 calories. So that's where fats are kind of sneaky, that you don't have to eat very much of them, but they'll still take a huge percentage of your overall caloric balance. So I want to open the floor to you guys. Have you counted calories before? Have you tracked macros? I know Kara's tracked because she did round 1, baby. Woohoo. And so, yeah, share with me a little bit on your understanding of carbohydrates, fats, any questions you have at this point. Ready and go. I'm going to turn off the heater while you guys figure out how to unmute. Actually, I'm just going to unmute you. I forget I can do that. Manage participants. Alice, you have the floor. I think. Oh, wait. Alice, you have the floor. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So all I can say is back in the day, because I'm just a little bit younger than you, not much, but we did a lot of calorie. That was it, calorie, starving yourself and calorie counting. And I did Weight Watchers right after I was done with cancer. So that would have been like 4 years ago. But I've kind of have learned that Weight Watchers in itself is good, but you do lose weight, but it's not the healthy way. And I don't know if they've changed anything, but you can eat whatever you want as long as it stays in the count.
Right?
Yeah, and you can have your count gone by 11 o'clock in the morning.
Really I didn't realize that.
It was tough. And so, yeah, it worked. I lost weight with it, but I'm back where so it does. It's not a long-term thing.
So there was more deprivation there, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah. But I'm starting to see that eating healthy, you can eat so much more if you eat the right things. So that's what I want to do. So.
And that has been something that has been in studies as well, that when people like that restricted diet versus giving people a diet where they can feel that satiated feeling, they tend to keep it off longer than those who are like restricting their caloric count. So that really falls in line with what you're saying. So that's good. All right. Okay. Sarah, you're next on my little list here. So muting Alice. Look at me. I am figuring out how to do this a little bit better each time. Uh-oh, maybe.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say, I can unmute it too. Sorry. So,
no, go ahead.
I mean, kind of along with what Alice was saying, I'm bad about if, like I mentioned to you, I use that MyFitnessPal, and so I end up focusing more just overall on calories than what I'm actually eating, I think, and so I need, and I don't feel like I know enough about the macros, but I need to be better of not filling up my calories with junk, and then starving myself.
I'm gonna find you a new app. In one of my journals that come, there was like 6 apps, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And now I'm not sure which one it's in, but I'm gonna look.
Okay. I have liked MyFitnessPal, and I do better overall still by journaling and keeping track, but
sometimes it messes with your brain though when you're seeing the calories and whatnot. And so, for some it can be effective and for some it can be distracting. So let's find you a different tracker that you might be able to use.
Okay.
And see if you like it better. Only one way to find out, right?
Right.
Cool. All right. Any other thoughts?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Now it's Rachel. Maybe. There we go.
I can unmute myself. That'll be easier. I second Kara that I've done my Fitness Pal, and you focus on the calories instead of what you're eating, and I always end up seeing, okay, well, how can I cheat and get this, chocolate in here and that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's worked when I'm actually focused on it, because I think I've eaten so poorly that it works just because I'm paying attention to what I eat instead of eating mindlessly. Because I think that's my biggest issue, is that I am an emotional eater, and I eat mindlessly when things are just going on. And so
Absolutely.
for that reason, it has worked for me when I do it, but I seem to always kind of putter out by midday.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I've already mindlessly eaten so much, I don't know where I'm at. So I would be up for a different tracker too, just because I think that can work for me if I were to do it.
Cool.
The best way to track. So, and I also don't really know much about macronutrients. My sister is working with nutrition and talking about that kind of stuff, and started to introduce me to it, but I don't know enough yet to really have any grounding. So
totally. And I think with macro counting, you have to be all in with it, and it can become, second nature, but you have to really focus and dig in on it for probably a couple months before it's anywhere. Oops, I think I just did something. But anyway, we're going to make it even simpler, and you're still going to get awesome results. So, and you're not going to feel on the wagon, off the wagon, which I think is important too. Wow, what am I doing? Just trying to get my little guy back over here. All right, well, let's see if I can. Oh, good. It'll let me. Okay, so moving forward, thank you for chiming in, you guys. Our second part of the system. So first is water for the win. Number 2, lead with the veggies. Now, next week, we're actually going to I'm going to share with you how to do your plated fuel. So how to actually dish up each meal, which will be super empowering. But this week, all that I want you to do is start to look through the veggie lists I send. I'm going to send you food lists, and just keep some vegetables on hand at all times. And vegetables can be tricky because they age and they go bad, but you can always have some frozen options. So like from Costco, I'll get the big bags of either broccoli or green beans, and I'll kind of go back and forth because a big bag lasts a little while, so then I start to get sick of it. So having some frozen options, having some canned options, make sure they're low sodium. And, usually the organic ones, they might be a little pricier, but I think Smith's just had like a case lot sale, and they had green beans that were organic, and they were like $10 more, but totally worth it, you guys. So the things that I love to keep on hand with the veggies are snap peas, carrots. I have cucumber right now. So those are kind of my 3 go-tos. And notice that they're all like the crunchy, yummy. I found, so for me, I'm an emotional eater as well. If I have that crunch, it really helps to satisfy the cravings I have going on. We're going to talk a lot more about different food options. I guess before I move on, I'll point out on here the cauliflower rice. What you're going to learn next week is how to make for dinner, just really trying to transition to having veggie as your base for dinner. So cauliflower rice is incredible for that, or you can do like a mashed potato type thing with the cauliflower. Spaghetti squash can be a great replacement for noodles. That's what I was actually going to do tonight, but my kids were driving me crazy, so I gave in on dinner. I was like, nope, not tonight. Okay, so I'm going to move on because that was our 10-minute warning that just popped up. So proteins, these are going to help you feel fuller longer. So the veggies, when you're dishing up your plate, when you're taking your first bites, try to lead with the veggies, okay? And so we have pictures that I'll be showing you in coming up weeks of like my Thanksgiving meal. And half of I led with the veggies, and like half of my plate was a salad, And then I even had some other, like, you know, I think there were yams, and so they're kind of candied and whatnot. But I did have other vegetables on the side that were kind of drenched in other things too. But leading with the veggies is going to be really empowering, and it's all that fiber is really going to fill up your stomach so you feel full. And then the proteins, the purpose of the proteins are to keep you fuller longer. And so they're giving you that sustaining satiation. Is that a word? Satiation? Should be. All right. So some of my favorite proteins, you know, I was totally on an egg kick like a month ago, and then I got sick of it. I just flip around, right? I think you guys are probably the same. So lately I've been back to my plain yogurt with a squirt of liquid stevia and frozen berries, and then that's my breakfast. So I'm starting off with a really powerful protein there, and it's low fat, but it still has some fat, so that kind of helps with satiety as well. And then the berries are a great fiber-filled carbohydrate to give me lots of energy through the morning. And so again, we're going to talk through more examples and stuff like that next week. I'm going to give you lots of yummy recipes that you can try out and just start, you know, a new leg of your fitness journey with. But deli meats are really easy to keep around. I typically will have a rotisserie chicken in my fridge. And apparently I'm the only one that really eats it. Callie will eat it on the first day, but then she doesn't touch it when I have to reheat it. But keeping options that you can grab quick are going to change your world, you guys. Okay, so that fibrous carbohydrates, you just heard me kind of talk about that. So this is it. We've got veggies, we've got proteins, and then this is it. Fibrous carbohydrates is kind of everything else. We're going to talk a little bit on these flavor pops, and that's where our fats fit in there and everything. But that's how I'm going to simplify all this for you guys. So you don't have to worry about, you just don't have to worry, I feel. So it's kind of weird to not think, oh, I've got carbs and then I've got fruits. Like what? No, they're all together, and fruits are very carby. And so the things that we have listed in our vegetables, they're very low on the carbohydrates, very high in fiber. And so that's kind of how we're separating these out. So some examples of these carbohydrates are going to be your more creamy squashes. Those are a little bit more carbohydrate filled. So you've got stuff like that, and sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, your beans, hummus, all your fruits basically, your whole grains, so oatmeals, popcorn, your whole wheat breads and tortillas, everything like that. Okay, so flavor pops, we've got, these are usually, like the purpose of them is to kind of help you eat more veggies is the way that I like to look about it. So for example, yesterday for my snack, I had carrots. I honestly don't really love carrots by themselves. I love roasted carrots, but just raw, crispy carrots, I kind of have to have a cheese with them. And so I chose this. It's probably a little bit more high in fat. It's like an Irish cheese or something, but it was a fun treat and I loved it. And it made me eat way more carrots than I would have. And so they served its purpose, and I tried to keep it to like a 1 serving size-ish. So anyway, that's just a simple example for you. But, you know, with your nut butters, I think this is where, like, at least having a visual in your head of 1 to 2 teaspoons, keeping it like with your avocados, a golf ball size, for your oils, a capful. So just having some sort of visual like that will help you with portions. But again, I don't want you to get super hung up on like, I can only have 1 or 2, because when I've done that with peanut butter, guess what? I have like a quarter cup. So let's keep it real here. So I aim for like 1 to 2 teaspoons of peanut butter, and I know that I can have more if I need, and that keeps me in check. And so that has really worked well for me. And even in this first round, Kara, how many times did you hear me say, like, I have a love affair with peanut butter? I've gotten so much better these past couple of months. It's just an ongoing relationship that we have with food, and you just gotta find your groove with it. And so here's a list of freebies as well. And again, I'm going to send you all of these in a like handout that you can print for yourself and stick on your fridge. You can take it to the grocery store. Something that I did add to our list, you'll see it on there, is like some of my favorite water recipes, because a lot of people, especially as you're starting to transfer away from soda and pop, which I highly recommend, we're focusing on water for the win. You can add flavor to your water with fruits and vegetables. So I know that we've all had like cucumber and lemon water, right? Something like that. But I send you over a couple of recipes that are my favorite, and they detox your body too. All right, our third part of our system. So we had water for the win, lead with veggies, track it to lose it. So when you're in weight loss mode, you guys, the more you can track, the better. So I have this sheet. If you want me to send this sheet, I can. Just email me if you want to just print off some, sheets for yourself to write out. Otherwise, I find that most people do it on their phone, and so I haven't worried too much about getting you guys a specific tracker. But the more you can track, the better. So if you're saying, okay, 1 slice of toast with, about a teaspoon of peanut butter, you're going to know if that's working for you or not as you check in with the scale. If you are doing, if you just say toast with some peanut butter, it's a little bit harder. I don't want you to spend too much time tracking. It's only going to be, it should take less than like 3 minutes a day. So don't get crazy. You don't have to dig in deep. A lot of apps too, all you have to do is take a picture of your meal, and that's tracking it. So yeah, let's see, My Plate calories counter. Try that one, you guys. My Plate. We'll see. Well, it's a calorie counter, so I don't know. I haven't been on that one in a while. So this week as well, your mission is to implement the system, right? So you're going to start tracking. And I know you don't have a game plan for your specific meals, and that's okay. That'll come next week. But just start tracking, just get in the habit of it. And I want you guys to send your trackers to me by Sunday, and then or by Monday, so then I can kind of look over and review them. If you have any questions, of course, email me or text me during the week, and then we can talk through it if you guys have any questions about anything in specific. But yeah, it's going to just be this kind of cycle of figuring out how to track for yourself that you can sustain it and that you're not like stressing out about it, and reaching your goals. So the fourth part of our system is the scale is our sidekick. So if you don't have a scale, I want you to get one. Otherwise, we're going to just start fresh with your new sidekick friend, and it's going to be your friend, because the only time we hate weighing ourselves is when we haven't been on the scale for a really long time. So what I want you to do is try to remove that emotion with what that number is, and just look at it and say, okay, here's our starting point. Let's make today a weight loss day. And then the next morning, and you're going to weigh yourself in the morning right after you go to the restroom. And maybe it's before you drink your cup of water. I usually down my water and then weigh myself. It doesn't make sense, but that's what I do. And then you're going to step on your scale and record that number. And then you're going to, record what you're eating through the day. So, okay, in less than 1 minute. Setting goals. Please send me your specific goal. I can send you this little image to help you along with your thinking, but please send me a SMART goal this week so I can help you along on your journey. And lastly, I added one more to the system, and it's checking in, which is completing this full circle, right? So check in, plan on checking in with us at least once a week. You can message me and check in every day if you want to, whatever helps you move along towards your goals. Okay, you guys, that is it. Oh man, it's gonna cut us off. Have an awesome night.